Basketball fans, welcome to the Nderitu Basketball YouTube channel, your one-stop shop for everything about the NBA. In this video, I'll be talking about the Phoenix Suns. So the Phoenix Suns right now are facing challenges and a new direction after the Big Three experiment failed. And this one is it is a sad one because the Phoenix Suns had championship aspirations. In the year 2023, they decided to trade for Kevin Durant at the trade deadline and also trade for Bradley Beal at the offseason, the 2023 offseason. And this moves 2 years later turned out to be one of the worst franchise altering moves that set them back for years. And in this video, I'm going to go ahead and talk about how their future is bleak and their team transition and the new identity that they're trying to look at is full of so much uncertainty. So Devin Booker, he signed a max extension, and he also showed that he's loyal to the Phoenix Suns. And Devin Booker, he agreed to sign to a 2-year, $145 million max extension, keeping him with the Phoenix Suns through the 2029-2030 season. This record-setting deal, it shows the highest annual salary extension in NBA history and solidifies his role as the franchise cornerstone and highlights his unwavering loyalty despite the team's struggles. I mean, Devin Booker has been through it all, failed seasons, and he at some point in time, he said he wanted a super team to come to him. The super team did come to him. I mean, the Phoenix Suns thought that they will be able to contend for titles with the big three, we're using the big three strategy and big three formula, but it didn't work. And it's something that has set them back for years. And salary-wise, they're struggling to balance their books. So looking at Bradley Beal, I mean, who I'm going to get to, he's the reason as to why the Phoenix Suns right now are in the second apron. So Devin Booker, he is the only player from the 2015 NBA draft still with his original team. So all the other draftees in the 2015 draft got traded, and he's the only one. So this is 10 years ago. So 10 years later, Devin Booker stayed put with the Phoenix Suns, and he's never asked for a trade, and he's always wanted a super team to come to him to contend. And unfortunately, in the past 2 years, they have yet to even win a single playoff game, and it has been sad. So dismantling of the big three super team. So Kevin Durant right now is gone, and he was traded to the Houston Rockets in a massive 7-team deal which involved Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, their 10th overall pick, who turned out to become Namalwatch, and other draft assets. So this marks the end of their brief super team era. There have also been discussions about Bradley Beal's buyout, and the Suns are actively discussing a buyout deal with Bradley Beal to make him an unrestricted free agent. And his large contract, which is $50 million plus per season, his injury history, underperformance, and no trade clause make him a big liability. And a buyout will help the Phoenix Suns shed salary and get under the luxury tax second apron. So the Los Angeles Clippers are reportedly the front runners to sign Bradley Beal if he's bought out. And getting rid of Bradley Beal is something that the Suns are looking at, and they're not holding back, and they're looking at a way they can do it. And there are reports that are coming out with a potential Bradley Beal buyout. This will involve Bradley Beal's forfeiting about 13 million and removing that out of his book so that the Suns can go ahead and stretch him. So when it comes to the new projected starting lineup and the roster challenges, with Durant gone and Beal likely out, and looking at his buyout situation, the Suns' projected starting fives looks dramatically different. So in the point guard position, we have Jalen Green. He was acquired through the Kevin Durant trade. He's an high-octane scorer, needs to improve efficiency and defense. Devin Booker, he's the franchise player, and he will carry majority of the offensive load. Dylan Brooks, acquired through the KD trade, he's a defensive pest, and he brings a much-needed aggressive energy in the team. Then you have Ryan Dunn at the power forward. So Dylan Brooks will play the small forward. Ryan Dunn will play the power forward. He's second-year player, raw offensively, but also provides athleticism, defense, and rebounding. Then the center position, you have Mark Williams. He was acquired from the Hornets, provides much needed rim protection and rebounding, and also alongside the rookie sensation in Kaman Maluach, who will most likely come off the bench. So the Phoenix Suns have limited depth and a grim outlook, and their bench is not as flashy, but has solid contributors like Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal. Though O'Neal may be traded, uh, I mean it's a sad situation, and highly touted rookie Kaman Maluach is a long-term project, and this means that the Phoenix Suns will have to mold this guy to who they want him to be, and how he is going to play in his rookie season will dictate that. And the team is now nearly gutted of all its draft assets before the Kevin Durant trade, which recouped some. So where at some point when they lost in the 2024 playoffs, their future was so bleak because for the next 6 years they didn't even have a first round pick. But because of that Kevin Durant trade, they've been able to acquire some few assets that they can utilize. And right now, I can even say the Phoenix Suns have a very uncertain future. So the Suns finished 11th in the Western Conference in the 2024-2025 season, and with a reshaped, younger roster and limited resources, they are not expected to contend for a title next season, and their ceiling is projected to be a lower playing team with a high chance of landing in the lottery if things don't gel. The Phoenix Suns are in a tumultuous state, signaling the end of their ambitious Big Three era. And despite Devin Booker's monumental contract extension, a testament to his loyalty and franchise faith in him, the team is still facing significant challenges. Stafford Kevin Durant got traded to the Rockets in a multi team deal, the first ever 7-team deal in NBA history, and discussions are underway on how they can get Bradley Beal off their books through a buyout, likely freeing up some cap and allowing the Clippers to go after Bradley Beal. So the Big Three era for the Phoenix Suns has come to a very, very sad close, and they'll go down in history as one of the failed Big Threes that didn't work. So this leaves Devin Booker leading a vastly different young roster that includes Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, Mark Williams, Kaman Maluach in there, and they're coming in as a rookie. So this lineup aims to improve defensively and add athleticism, and the team is now light on established star power and bench depth currently. So experts predict a very difficult 2025-2026 season, with the Suns unlikely to contend for a title and potentially battling in for a playing spot, or even falling into the lottery and try to see if they can get a pick if they have one. So despite these serious problems, Devin Booker has shown a lot of commitment to winning a title with the Phoenix Suns, and it's something that has been very rare. A lot of people are commending this situation, but honestly, I feel for Bradley. I feel for not Bradley Beal. I don't feel for Bradley Beal. I feel for Devin Booker because he wanted a super team. The Suns tried to get him a super team. It didn't work. And right now he's looking at how can I lead a team that is full of young guys who are not that yet established. I used to have established players, but they are no longer on the roster. I mean, it's a tough situation for the Phoenix Suns, and even with the expert prediction being a late in the play-in, it's something that you would not even have predicted this previous season. Things will have panned out that way, but looking at how they have gutted their roster and how their roster identity looks different, I must say this has been one of those clear-cut examples of never sell out for big three and not invest in good bench depth. Because if you trade away your assets and get a max contract player, and that max contract player ends up disappointing the team, they not only hurt the team through their low productivity, but also when NBA executives and the team management and the front office look back at these decisions, they'll say we should never make a risk of trading away our assets for a player who is on a max deal and there's no sign that they can be able to improve. That's the same thing that they experienced with Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal has played for the Washington Wizards for the majority of his career. 2 years ago, when he got traded to the Phoenix Suns, the expectation was he was going to help the Devin Booker Kevin Durant duo to win for a title, to contend for a title, coming in, and he was expected to be a third option for the team. And unfortunately, we being riddled with injuries, being on a max deal, and having a no trade clause in the contract, which I fault the Washington Wizards for putting there, it has really set this team back. And currently, as we speak, they are on full on rebuild mode, and they are not even expected to contend for a title. And they're in the worst possible situation. They're on a high, they're on a low. They're trying to cut the luxury tax, because if they're not contending, and what use is it them being in the luxury tax? So it is what it is. So do drop me your comments down in the comment section what you think about this. Like, share, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notified, because I'm going to be coming out with content of this nature. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.